What is up, Super Fam and Bro Vengers alike? I am Sensei Finito, aka Vane Sensei, and welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things Marvel and everything pop culture. And today we are going to be talking about a whole bunch of things, and I hope everybody is ready. This is also our first time trying out this YouTube Shorts thing, as well as being live on Facebook and I believe Instagram as well. I tried out, I was trying to do Twitch as well, but it wasn't working. And if you want to stream on Twitter, you have to have premium, and I'm not doing that. So we're doing a little bit more of experimenting today, but we're still going to be having our normal show as we usually do. That's right. And on today's show, for our open discussion, we'll be talking about Marvel's showcase at CinemaCon. In the area of pop culture, we'll be discussing all the other stuff that dropped at CinemaCon. And then it's full steam ahead to Scoop Central to talk about Superman Legacy, Superman or Supermen. So I'm really excited to get into all this good stuff. If you guys are here with me, let me know. We are gonna be. I'm pretty sure I got chat set up. I got everything set up as best as my ability. Drop a like on the stream if you haven't already, because we're about to be getting into some fantastic things today. You can follow us on social media at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with all things Marvel and everything pop culture. You can also follow me on social media at Sensei Finito to stay up to date with all of my stuff that I be talking about, all my thoughts, theories, and opinions on whatever particular thing we may be partaking in at that particular time. And then, of course, you can check out that weekly podcast wherever you check out your podcast at. All right. I don't know if you guys were like there or was paying attention to a lot of the stuff that was dropping at CinemaCon, but there was a ton of things dropping at CinemaCon. I mean, it felt like the for everybody showed up and showed out as far as it went for this round. At least Marvel did for sure. I don't think DC came through with too much heat because they're cooking right now. You know, they're cooking. They're trying to come back with something, but we don't know if what they're gonna come back with is gonna be, the thing to make it happen. I have a pretty good feeling that DC is actually going to be cooking in the future. If you guys think DC is going to be cooking just let me get a 1 in the chat. If you think DC is not cooking, then let's get a 2 in the chat. I kind of feel like the future of DC is about to be crazy once we start getting all the stuff that James Gunn has in store, whether that's the cartoon stuff, or should I say animated, or the live action things. Either or, I think we're really going to be cooking. And I do believe we get the animated thing first, so that's going to be super interesting to see how that is. I think it's Creature Commandos. I believe that's the first actual DCU project or DC Studios, excuse me, project that we get is Commandos. So it makes sense that we didn't get to see a lot from DC at CinemaCon, and they're probably not going to have a big panel at San Diego Comic-Con either. At least I don't think so, just because, as I said, they're cooking right now. Everything they want to do is cooking, unless they're going to be doing things like what's it called? Uh like announcing, like the Snyder stuff possibly going to Netflix and things along the lines of that. I could see that maybe happening, but again, that those deals probably aren't happening for a while if it does happen. So I think we have I think we have a little time to wait on that. But still, I'm excited to check this out. I'm excited to check out all the DC stuff that's going to be going on. Superman, Supergirl, all the Justice League thing they might be doing, the Green Lantern show, all of that's going to be fire. So I'm not surprised we didn't get to see a lot of stuff coming from them this time around for Comic-Con. But what we did get to see was a whole slew of other things. And we're going to be focusing on the Marvel stuff first, of course, because we love Marvel around here. And then we're going to be branching off into other things as we continue on. So let's just start it off with the first look that we have at Anthony Mackie as Captain America in Captain America Brave New World. Now, I think this is fantastic. I think this is a fantastic picture. I'm not gonna lie. I love the frame of it. I love the shield. I love the shield more than a lot of. I think Cap shield is one of my favorite like MCU items, I guess you can say, because there's a lot of them, right? Like Thor's hammer, Stormbreaker, anything. There's a whole bunch of different items, but I think that shield and like just the story behind it and what it's been through, it's heat, man. Like I think that's one of my favorite things. Even when think about it, I think I think it was even the first item that we had like Easter egg teased to us. I think it was in Iron Man 2 where Cap is like, "Oh, I mean, Iron Man is like, yo, that's just the thing I need," and he just puts it under the the cylinder to prop up his machine, right? So it's like we've been like that shield means so much to so many people, and I think that's one of the things that they were kind of banking on with it. And I love the shield, and I think the shield looks fire. I think Sam with the shield is a dope thing too. I want to see what his new not his new outfit, but his new costume is looking like for sure. I know they're gonna have a new one, obviously, but I'm not sure what that new costume is gonna look like. Uh, Captain America: Brave New World is going to be absolutely insane. We know it's gonna be about like the whole. We have what's his name? My brain is slipping. I know, I know what his name is, but what is his name? I know it's Harrison Ford, but Harrison Ford as General Thunderbolt Ross, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, I should say. We see him here, and we know that he's going to be played by Harrison Ford, and we're probably going to get that Red Hulk storyline coming from that too, as well as a whole slew of other things. So I think the hype is really, really there for Captain America: Brave New World, and I kind of think they took away from some of that hype by calling it Brave New World instead of sticking to New World Order. I really don't know why they changed that title. That New World Order title is something fierce. It's something cold. And I think I think it has a certain tone to it. And maybe they didn't want to kind of abide by that tone or capitalize on that tone. Maybe they wanted to switch it up and do something a little different. But, I think Captain America Brave New World also just had, I can't think of the word. Oh, they did the test screening. That's what it is. Captain America: Brave New World just did test screenings. They didn't just do them, but when they did do test screenings, things didn't go over so well with everybody. And it was like, okay, let's change up a few things. And they have changed up a few things, but I think they changed up more than a few things. They pretty much rewrote or redid almost the entire movie, if I'm not mistaken. So that's hype. That's definitely hype. And I wasn't ready for that to occur either. So we have a lot of hype coming for this movie. Especially because we know that angle of adamantium is supposed to be there. If you guys don't know what like kind of the underlying thing of Captain America Brave New World will be, it will be kind of capitalizing on the entire government strings that have been being played on throughout the entirety of phase 4 so far. So even if we start with like WandaVision and continue to where we are now, it is very obvious that the freaking government has had crazy things going on within the MCU. Even if you want to go a little bit farther back, no, we can stay right there. So from WandaVision and on, or even Spider-Man No Way Home, because damage control is doing a lot in that too. But if we just look at what damage control has been doing and Miss Marvel and all these other things, and then we have what Sword was doing, and it's just showing us that the government in the MCU is starting to set trip and they're starting to do a lot of iffy things. And then even though no matter how you feel about Secret Invasion did one big thing, and that was introduced to us that the government is now on even more demon time than they were before, because we see the president at the time literally call out war on all aliens and all everybody, and then that goes crazy, right? And then we know that in Daredevil Born Again, we're going to be seeing Fisk as mayor possibly, and then that having some other things going on with that, right? And as mayor, he's going to be trying to do his own thing over there. So the government has a big string of things going on, with one of the biggest ones being in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, with the when the UN had tried to basically send a stealth team to retrieve vibranium, and then the Wakandans had to retaliate on them. You know what I'm saying? They had to retaliate on them so they could get all that stuff back. So off rip again, we have already seen that it's about to go crazy with the government. Like the government has been doing things in every step of the way. Even again in Wakanda Forever, we see that's when we find out the CIA is led by Valentina, who has also been doing all the stuff with recruiting all the Thunderbolts, and we know that's about to come out. So as far as it goes with the interconnectivity of the government, that's what we're about to get the most from Captain America: Brave New World, and I'm hype about that. Like I am super hype about that. I don't know where that road leads, but regardless, we're gonna be in there for sure. So I want to know how you guys feel about Captain America: Brave New World. Again, these stills are pretty fire that we got, only a couple of them, and then I think we also um, I think they also showed a clip at CinemaCon, and basically what that said was the first clip of Captain America: Brave New World shows Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross wanting to restart the Avengers, but disagreeing with Sam Wilson. So it seems like this movie may be a precursor to also to Thunderbolts, which would be a really good vibe. I would love to see Harrison Ford in that. I don't know if we've even heard about him supposed to be in that movie at all, but that would be fire if we got to see him as Thunderbolt Ross enter the fray there as well, kind of continuing the notion of what we've already been dibbling with, dabbling with, if you will, dibbling and dabbling. And I'm hyped to see what's going to be going on with Captain America: Brave New World. For real. We got it coming out 2/14/25 next year, so that's going to be fire. And I mean, I'm hoping everything about it actually comes through. I really want Red Hulk to go crazy. I want everything about this movie to really be fire, especially since it's going to be Sam Wilson, Captain America's first movie, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal, um, because it's like I know for a lot of people, it like he's Captain America now, but since we haven't seen him in a movie yet, he also doesn't feel like full blown Captain America yet. Like we've seen him in one show, his show becoming Captain America, but even in that show, it was called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The only other time I think we've seen him as Cap is like at Disneyland and other things like that. We haven't had any movies or shows mention him as Captain America, even though in his show it seemed like they made a super big deal about it. It's like we haven't seen that on a news channel in any other movie or nothing. So that's one of the things that I haven't like. I'm hoping the MCU gets a lot better with is like kind of that interconnectivity that it basically kind of built itself off of because things have not been feeling as interconnected, but they have. So if we just get a little bit more of a news thing here talking about Spider-Man or something there talking about it, and not just the characters that know who they are talking about it, I think that would do a lot. Having these other name drops go a long way, and as we've seen, right? Like as we've seen, it goes a long way. So So yeah, man. I like I said, Captain America: Brave New World is probably going to be insane. I don't know if any of us are going to be ready for that. Uh, I mean, just this pick alone is looking crazy, and I think we're gonna have a new Falcon, which is going to be I can't think of his name. The guy that was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier talking to Sam Wilson. Like he left him his wings, and so he's gonna have those wings going into this movie too. This movie is gonna be a little jam packed, but I don't know if it's gonna be overstuffed. It's gonna be jam packed for sure with a bunch of different things, but as far as it being overstuffed, I really don't think that's gonna be the case. I don't think this is gonna be overstuffed by any means. But you know, who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows? But that takes us in also to the Thunderbolts. Okay, so the Thunderbolts, we know a lot about Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is about like I think a lot of the stuff that I was saying in Captain America: Brave New World is also bleeding over into this. We know about Sentry. We know about the adamantium is going to be a big thing through Tiamut that was introduced via Eternals. So that threat is going to finally pop up again. I'm pretty sure the reason why it hasn't been talked about a lot in the MCU up until now is because, well, the Eternals. I think the Eternals. I think the thing that happened in the Eternals has been kept on the hush from the government, and the reason why I kind of think that is if you remember back to She-Hulk when they're on that kind of website, and it's just kind of like, oh, this is just, it's like none of this stuff is real. What is it called? What were those papers called? I can't think of what it's called, but it's just one of those websites where things aren't supposed to be taken 100% seriously, but they actually do have solid information. And it talks about, this guy with claws, and then it also talks about giant person sticking out of ocean. So people know about it or have seen it, but it's probably just that the government, for some reason, has been trying to keep that on wraps or keep it a secret, which is very interesting to me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's very interesting. But we also know the team for Thunderbolts is gonna be Yelena Belova. I should have grabbed that. Let me grab that picture real quick. Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, U.S. Agent. Um, oh, that's a terrible picture. There we go. Yeah, so Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, the Winter Soldier, U.S. Agent, Taskmaster, Ghost, and then Valentina well, I can't remember what her name is, but it's like Valentina something. And I think this is a solid team. And again, I think I mentioned this already, but we're supposed to have some mention, or we might see, what is bruh's name? Dang. Sentry. We might see Sentry show up, and that would be heat. But I think we're probably going to see. It's not really a might. We will be seeing Sentry show up. I don't know if you guys remember, but um, Stephen Ewan had slipped it to his friend. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank on his name. But basically, it had been leaked that Stephen Ewan would be reprising the role or taking up the role of being Sentry in the Thunderbolts. But then he dropped out of that role for something else, and now someone else is going to be cast as Sentry in the Thunderbolts. But basically, what we're thinking is there has been another underlining uh, story kind of going on within the MCU, and that is that of the super soldier serum that Cap had took. That's what the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was kind of about as well, was the super soldier serum. We had a little bit of the super soldier serum show up in She-Hulk, because that's how Ga- Bruce Banner's gamma radiation is from an failed experiment of him trying to replicate the super soldier serum. So that when in She-Hulk, the intelligentsia was trying to get the Hulk serum, and then in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they were trying to get the super soldier serum. Those things underline with each other, and those are connected. And then in Thunderbolts, we'll see a little bit of that come into the fray as well. So that's why I'm saying it's like we have a good pipeline so far. It's just that, as we know, the vid knocked out a whole bunch of stuff, and then the strikes also knocked out a whole bunch of stuff. So it's gonna be a little while until we actually get a Marvel movie that hasn't been affected by any of this wild stuff that's been going on. Especially because they've been trying to create at such a large scale. Well, not really trying. They have been creating at a very large scale up until now. And that's good. I mean, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing bad about it, nothing wrong with it. It's all good to go. But I'm hyped for Thunderbolts. I think Thunderbolts is going to be a solid movie. A lot of people have been calling it Marvel Suicide Squad, and I can see that. But I don't think, I don't know though at the same time, because when I see this team, I just see copy and paste to the same person, right? I'm pretty sure even Ghosts, the thing that happened to her was her dad trying to replicate something also that was going on. So all of these, other than Yelena Belova, everybody has this like a super soldier type of thing, and then there's her, but she's a Black Widow, so it's different. Um, I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen with this team. It seems like a very like I don't know if it's going to be we have to throw this team together at the last minute or we're using this team for something that's happening right now. Either or is a good decision, but it matters, It matters. So we're definitely going to have to see what the hell is going on in that area with the Thunderbolts, all of them. And supposedly they won't have a big like not they, but the Winter Soldier isn't gonna have like a super huge role like in the movie, but he is gonna be a part of the team, if you know what I'm saying. And I think that's due to. I think that is due to the fact that we already know about what's going on with him. We just had a whole show with him in it. Mind you, that show was hella long ago, but we did just have a show with him in it. And so there's a lot of other things that are gonna be going on and happening. So I think Thunderbolts is going to be solid. There's like three dudes with shields in that movie, and that's insane. Um, I wonder if they're going to be like tossing shields back and forth with each other, or if there's anything like that's going to be happening because U.S. Agent has a shield, Red Guardian has a shield, Taskmaster has a shield. So that's already three shields right there. And then you got Yelena. She doesn't have a shield, and then Ghost doesn't have a shield either, and then Bucky he has his vibranium arm. So it's going to be interesting to see what everybody is, doing together. And I'm also hoping that U.S. Agent Shield is made of adamantium to also continue that connectivity into that movie. That'll be solid. That'll be straight solid. And then continuing on the Captain America vibes, right? We have none other but Captain America supposedly supposed to be jumping into X-Men 97 this week, and I am super pumped for that. Like that's gonna be hype city. There is no reason to not be pumped about that right there. Let me tell you now. X-Men 97 has been incredible up until this point, and I mean they have already dropped the show has been far greater than I had ever imagined it to be 100%. Like I knew the show was going to be good because Marvel knows how to cook. Like even when it's a miss, they still be cooking in certain areas, right? It's just be like, "Oh man, I just didn't like that flavor." But of course a whole bunch of other people did. But for this, it's kind of like, "Nah, they know what they doing." It really shows X-Men 97 really shows what happens when they do not have the uh restraints of having something be a shared universe, right? Because that's one thing that we really don't even think about is how hard it has to be to really have all these interconnectivity things going on when you have so many actors that are always acting in other things, always doing other stuff, and then you're trying to weave all these storylines together, but also have um these separated stories occur as well. So it makes sense as to how that can be hard and how that can be difficult to accomplish. But still, we see that people. I mean, it's getting accomplished right on X-Men 97 because everything is kind of within that universe, and when you have that animated vibe going on, people are way more willing to, uh, you know, they're way more willing to be on that level basically they're just way more willing to be a part of that. They're way more willing to understand what's going on. They're way more willing to just kind of be forgiving with the different stuff that may happen in the show. Like certain things that you would do with live action will not you can't do things in animation that you do in live action because it just won't play over well with the audience. They're not going to be happy. They're not going to want to check that out. They're not going to want to experience that. They're going to want more. So I'm excited to see what that more can look like and what that more can actually equate to when if we do get more crossovers from X-Men 97 because I mean already they've touched on a vast roster of X-Men that have been available that are available to them now. I mean Marvel got I feel like Marvel got the rights to X-Men from Fox and immediately started cooking this up. Like literally immediately. You can tell the care that's put into it. You can tell how much love there is. You can tell that the people that worked on this show have obviously watched this show as children or just as young kids or whatever the case may be. You know that a lot of these people have put their blood, sweat, and tears into this to make it look good, to make it be fun, to make it be entertaining, and to also have a solid storyline while being a super nerd fest of just a conglomerate of information to where you can go frame by frame and you'll almost always see something that you did not see the first time, and that is just so incredible. We're at the halfway mark with the season, so the next part of it is going to be insane. I'm just so ready for it. And the next episode that we have starting tomorrow, it will be resuming the part 1 that we left off from with uh Storm and found Forge, with Storm and Forge, continuing that conversation and that storyline. And I think that's going to be freaking crazy to be able to experience, bro. Like, it's going to be crazy to be able to experience that. We're definitely going to be cooking when we get to that area. Because, I mean, Storm has been such a strong focal point of the show. And in this season, like like they gave her a crazy introduction with that omega level threat detected. Like when that happens and then she just pulls up going crazy, like turning sand to glass as lightning strikes down, it's like, oh, it just reassures us like how top notch she is. And then they rip all of that away from her and they rip it from us as well as the audience. So it's been really like not I don't know fun, but it's been really interesting to be able to explore Storm's character in this way, in an animated form that's so good. And if we get any cameos more than what we already got, it's gonna bring it to the next level. I mean, we got the Watcher, bro. Like we got the Watcher in this, and that was insane. Like to be able to see the Watcher in X-Men '97 was wild, bro. Let me see. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I took a screenshot of it, because I meant to bring that up too, so we could talk about that because that is wild. Um. Oh, here we go. Oops. Bam. Like, come on, son. Like, that's crazy. Like, the Watcher just watching what's going on. Like, when someone pointed this out. Wait a minute, what's going on? And I was like, whoa. Like, how crazy insane is this? Like, why the event is so big that the Watcher pulled up to see what was going on. Uatu himself pulled up on him. Like this is next level. This is next level, bro. So whatever we get tomorrow from this show, I know it's gonna be fire. We got Cable pulling up again. And with the introduction of the Watcher, we now know that X-Men '97 is a part of our side of the multiverse in the MCU, because there are like multiverses are like solar systems basically, and there's a multitude of multiverses. So no, we gotta kind of know what's a part of our multiverse, and we do know what's a part of our multiverse now. We got the Spider-Man stuff from across the Spider Verse, and then now we got this. Like everything is starting to be connected more, and it's gonna be hyped, bro. I'm so hyped to see what's gonna be coming out next, man. Like tomorrow's episode is gonna be insane. Episode 6 is gonna be wild. Halfway there, baby. You know they're gonna start us off right there. You know we're gonna continue off with some with the banger story, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So I'm ready for tomorrow's episode, and I hope y'all are too. Yo, also, yo, Daredevil Born Again has officially finished filming, so that's gonna be insane once we finally get that. And I believe there was like a little teaser that had dropped, nothing major, but it was the first thing that we got to see of Daredevil. Uh, and this is from Daredevil Born Again, and it is an official look. So even though it's literally, I don't think it's even a full second, like it's still so good. Like it looks good. And going back to the picture, like we look at that. It's shinier. It's well, at least it's more red than the Netflix version of the suit that was a lot deeper of a red, a lot more darker of a burgundy than anything. And now we have this that is like again um a lot lighter or a brighter of that red, and it just looks so good. It just looks so good, yo. So I'm pumped to see more of Daredevil Born Again and all the stuff that's going to be going on there, whether it's Punisher, whether it's Luke Cage, whether it's Kingpin, whether it's whatever, man. I like Daredevil Born Again is going to low key be insane like how X-Men has been insane, but not on the same large scale, you know? Like Deadpool and Daredevil Born Again are gonna be like all of those are crazy because it's gonna be so much fan service in that as a Marvel fan that you're not gonna know what to do, you know, because there's gonna be so many different characters, so much stuff happening because this is a much more established universe now. So yeah, we're cooking. We're cooking. Like we're cooking. Especially because with how grand a scale the MCU is at now, I think it's hard to have a consecutive, well, not consecutive, but singular story. Like I think singular storytelling is more difficult now to have a story just confined to one character because there's so many more heroes, there's so many more characters in general. These characters know other characters and so on and so on and so on. So like that's one thing that was really dope about Shang-Chi is it introduced us into a whole new world that was already existing within Marvel with like the fights that were going on that Abomination and Wong were at that directly connected into She-Hulk then, you know? Like that's like we have been having the thing happen, but it hasn't been happening enough. So that's why it feels a little wild, you know? Like we should always hear about events that are happening in other movies because the MCU is interconnected. But one of the another big issue with that is that there is no linear connectivity or chronological connectivity to how the movies come out or the shows. Like a movie can be set 3 years from now, and then the movie after that is set from 1 year from now, and then a movie after that is set in this year. So it's like there's no chronological order to events. It's just like here are movies. And it's like, yo, we need a little bit more of that storytelling being weaved into it so we know that, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. And then that way you can do things like show Spider-Man swinging through this place or whatever because that's just what it would go. That's what how it happens. Like and you need like we just need little things like superheroes just pulling up and helping someone out and then just not seeing them again. Like we need shit like that happening. I mean that's how it happened in X-Men 97, right? Like Spider-Man just pulled up and then he was there in one episode and then we never saw him again. And then we'll probably see him in another episode in the future. Like that's how it should be. Use these characters sparingly, but also use them. I'm just excited to get our first trailer, man. I'm just pumped to get our first trailer. Is gonna be fire. Yo, what's up with it, John Wick? How you doing, my boy? Oppo is Han and Gio. Hope y'all are having good ones, yo.
Hello there.
Hope y'all having a good day. We just talking about a little bit of Daredevil right now. We about to get into a little bit more Marvel stuff that has been dropping on us. And the next thing to talk about is how Kevin Feige told us that, Fantastic Four is going to be shot using the IMAX cameras. So we are really going to be cooking here. Like we are really going to be cooking with Fantastic Four. I know a lot of people are a little iffy about it, but nah, son. I am super here for Fantastic Four. I think Fantastic Four is going to be insane. And it comes out next year, July 25th, 2025. This movie is going to be wild for a multitude of reasons yet again. And one of those reasons is because apparently this is going to be set in a alternate universe where, our Fantastic Four are probably going to be the main titular group, titular characters, very similar to how in the Fox verse they were the main heroes, but this is well not in the Fox verse, but in the Fox Fantastic Four, I should say. They were like the main heroes in their movie. I think it'll be kind of like that, mixed with a little bit what we saw from Multiverse of Madness, to where the Fantastic Four were really booming in that movie too. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna see a lot of different things, bro, from it, and it's gonna be crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you; it is gonna be insane when we get to the Fantastic Four. We're not gonna know what to do for a lot of reasons, yo. And with that, they also dropped this Happy 4-4 Day poster that gives us our first look at the Human Torch. The Human Torch is going to be played by I can't think of the actor's name from Stranger Things. Everybody was going crazy over him. Uh and I'm happy to see him get another role. And I think he's actually gonna kill it as Johnny for real. So I think the entire cast is actually gonna be really great. It's just a little jarring to see them, but it's okay because we're gonna be able to get this movie, and it either will be or won't be the family that like the first family that we continue to grow with. But I don't know if it matters really, but no matter what happens, I'm pumped about this movie because we're going to see a whole bunch. We're going to be seeing a whole bunch from this movie. And with that kind of picture that they dropped, they also put out these five comics that you can read in order to get a little bit more understanding of what will be happening in this version of the Fantastic Four. And that starts with Fantastic Four 1961, number 1, Fantastic Four 1961, number 48, Fantastic Four 1961, number 49, Fantastic Four 1961, number 50, and Fantastic Four Life Story in 2021, and that is number 1. So these stories are the ones that they kind of let us know we need to be up on game on in order to know what's going to be happening in this next movie and in the coming of Galactus, which is Fantastic Four number 48. The Watcher warns the Fantastic Four about Galactus pulling up on them to take them out. So that might mean we could see Uatu the Watcher live action in Fantastic Four. The first place we saw Uatu the Watcher live action was actually in I Am Groot, the show that's technically live action, even though it's CGI, but it's CGI live action thing going on. And we saw Uatu in that watching Groot for whatever reason. So we know, you know what I mean? We know that the Watcher is out there. We know that the Watcher is ready and waiting. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped about this. And we also have a hint that Galactus will be the main villain of this movie as well. So it's all going to be kind of interconnected, okay? we're going to have the Fantastic Four in an alternate dimension. Have the king of alternate dimensions, aka Uatu the Watcher, pull up and warn the Fantastic Four about Galactus, and that might end up that might lead to them being trapped in our universe at the end of their movie or something crazy like that. But with who comes with Galactus? That's right, Silver Surfer. And Julia Garner has been cast as a female Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four. At least that's what headlines have been telling you. But she's not a female Silver Surfer. She's actually the Silver Surfer's wife. She'll probably be playing the Silver Surfer's wife who becomes a surfer after Nolan Norrad becomes a Silver Surfer first. So uh, basically, Nolan uh Silver Surfer becomes the Silver Surfer to save his world, save his wife, save his family from Galactus. After that, she becomes a herald of Franklin Richards' version of Galactus, right? So once Franklin Richards turns into Galactus, she becomes a version of that. And that's what you see over here on the right side. You see our guy Norrin over here, and her name is Sheila Dan, Sheola Dan. It's something along the lines of that, right? So we'll see, her be on that side of things more. And then they're setting up Norrin Rad, the actual Silver Surfer, by proxy of this female Silver Surfer that we're getting introduced to here. And it's basically, I think what Mike Beasy said is it was a 2-for-1 for Disney. They get their prominent woman in a prominent role, and they set up who they really want going forward. Because this character 100% dies in the comic books, just so everyone understands. But that might not happen here. We don't know if it's going to happen here, but I'm just saying that's how it goes down in the mix. That's how it goes down in the mix. I'm just throwing that out there. In game, RIP Tony. Yeah, facts. Big RIP Tony. Big RIP to Tony, man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But we're headed towards Secret Wars, and that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? We're headed towards Secret Wars, and I'm pumped. I'm ready, and I can't wait for everything that's gonna be pulling up with that. So, Fantastic Four is going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy multiversal story, and it's going to definitely have all the things that I think we need from it. And I'm excited to check it out next year. It's not too far away. We have a lot of time for them to see what's going on with that. Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic is absolutely insane. I still am not over that, but hey, we gonna see what it is. We gonna see what it is, and we gonna see what it's gonna be. Um, but I believe that was like kind of the majority of the stuff that they talked about at San Diego Comic Con, excuse me, CinemaCon this year, Marvel's showcase. I know they also talked about Deadpool. They had showed a little bit of Deadpool stuff going on. They were like, "Yo, hush your mouth," keep. They had dropped the F bomb a couple times. They were like, "Yo, turn your fucking phones off," I think Kevin Feige dropped the F bomb like 3 or 4 times as well during the Deadpool showcase, just to kind of let everyone know, like, bro, this is not like we're on a whole nother level. Like we're really leveling up now. Like Disney is on another level, and we are ready for it. I think all of us real fans, not real fans, I won't say that, but all of us huge fans, like all of us diehards, are really, really ready for Deadpool and Wolverine. And I'm pretty sure all the other stuff that's going to come after Deadpool and Wolverine is also going to be insane. So people are really. I'm putting my eggs in the basket, bro. I'm putting my eggs in the basket. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Between Daredevil, Born Again, Deadpool and Wolverine, X-Men '97, like hit. So I think that Disney needs to be able to have fun with it, so they can do the R-rated wild things that we never thought we would ever see. And then they also need to be able to do stuff like this to where uh hold on. They need to be able to, they need to be able to be serious, and they also need to be able to be a little goofy about it as well. And maybe goofy is not the best term of words, but I think you'll understand my choice of words once you see this. Just 1 second. Yo, like what's happening here? Like, if you can't go crazy, if you can't go to the dark places, you gotta go to the light places, right? If you go to the dark ones, you gotta go to the light ones. So we get a full blown R-rated Deadpool movie, and we also get what if Donald Duck became Wolverine? It's duality. It's duality. You gotta find a good balance. You gotta find a good balance somewhere, yo. And I guess, this is as much balance as you'll get here. You feel me? And like this is insane to me, but I'm still here for it. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm still here for it nonetheless. No matter how crazy it looks, I'm gonna be checking it out, yo. I guess. Yo, this is freaking crazy. 2024 CGI isn't good as the old days CGI. Chris Evans, though, he makes it better. I mean, the CGI, yes. I understand what you're saying, but I think a lot of that CGI issue is due to all the things that have been going on. I mean, Marvel full blown had to fire their CGI visual effects artist because they were basically making a toxic workplace environment and only giving projects to the people that they liked, forcing other projects in a pipeline to get backed up because they didn't want that person working on it, right? And then you had the stuff that was also going on with Chapek, and then you also had the strikes, and then you also had like COVID, and then so the stacks have been against Marvel on all of the movies that people have not liked. It's just a fact, and so now people are looking at it like, oh man, Marvel has no bangers, but it's just they've been affected by so much. I mean, Michael Fassbender was supposed to be in WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness. That alone would have set up a crazy story. Doctor Strange was supposed to be in WandaVision, but there wasn't able to because of the COVID stuff that was happening. So there's a lot of factors or a lot of things that have gotten taken off the board by proxy of other things that are going on that have kind of forced these movies to not be as good as they could have been because they aren't able to have as much, have as much love thrown into them or put into them because of X, Y, or Z. So after, again though, after like, what's the last thing I think we have to deal with? Thunderbolts, Blade a little bit too, but really after like 2025, all the movies that we get from that point on, like in 2026, 27, 28, those movies should hopefully not be too heavily affected or impacted by all the other things that have been impacting every other movie going up until right now. So it'll be interesting to see what actually occurs there. But I'm still hopeful that we have a bright future ahead of us in the term of Marvel and not just live action. They also have a lot of Marvel animation things coming out, whether that be the Marvel Zombies thing or the another season of What If or They're supposedly going to be doing another animated Spider-Man, like the 90s Spider-Man, basically. So Spider-Man 90s or whatever it'll be called, Spider-Man 96 or Spider-Man 98, Spider-Man 2000, whatever that OG Spider-Man cartoon got canceled. The one that is in the same universe is X-Men 97, right? So that's a possibility of that coming out too. And then we have the Eye of Wakanda. We have the other Spider-Man show coming out. I think that's Spider-Man freshman year. So there's going to be a lot of Marvel animation, a lot of MCU stuff, a lot of everything coming out, and I'm hyped for it all. I really need more MCU animation just because I think that'll probably be some of the best MCU content that we get, just because of how much they won't have to put themselves in a box with it. But regardless, irregardless, nevertheless, nonetheless, I'm here for it all. But that'll bring us to the end of the Marvel portion of the CinemaCon stuff. And we won't be talking too heavily about the other stuff that was going on, but we will be touching on a little bit of it. No diddy. Um, so let me see. My bad. I thought I had my script here. What's happening? There we go. Yes, sir. Boom. Okay. So yeah, that will bring us to the end of our Marvel portion of things. So let me know how you guys are feeling about all the stuff that Marvel dropped at CinemaCon. I think it's actually dubs across the board. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think there was a lot of dubs that they dropped. Um, a lot of things that we already knew, but just getting that hype back up is lit. I think the one thing we didn't really talk about was the whole asterisk at the end of Thunderbolts, but we can talk about that later. Uh I'm really I am really pumped for all of the Marvel stuff that's going to be happening. For real. Like, it's going to be crazy. No cap. It's going to be crazy. Marvel CinemaCon really did their thing this year, and I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be at San Diego Comic Con as well. So probably banger after banger in that area. For real, for real. And Appa, stay tuned, man, because you're gonna enjoy the next thing we're about to get into coming out of this Marvel stuff. But before we get into the next portion, y'all already know, get you some of that Dom's Bomb gourmet popcorn immediately.
Hi, my name is Dominique Pruitt, and I started Don's Bon Gourmet Popcorn LLC in the summer of 2021 to introduce delicious and unique flavored popcorn not found anywhere else in the world. Why, you ask? Because I make it in my home with love, just for you. We offer over 10 flavors and are continuously creating new flavors that can be customized to any color or taste for your next event, party, or fundraiser. So go find yourself to our website and find a bombastic flavor of popcorn at donsbombgourmetpopcorn.com, or you can also follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Don's Bomb Gourmet Popcorn.
That is right. Get you some Dom's Bomb gourmet popcorn. Where the popcorn is always bomb, gourmet, and of course, is made by Dom. Okay, now getting into the next portion, coming out of Marvel and going into all the other things that were there at CinemaCon. And we're not going to be talking about all the other things, but some of the other things from CinemaCon. One of the big ones is we have the official title for the next installment of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And it will be titled Aang, The Last Airbender. And I am actually so pumped for Aang, The Last Airbender. So happy that they called it Aang, The Last Airbender as well, because we know that, like, there's a lot of other stuff that goes on. And they didn't want to call it Avatar: The Last Airbender because it's obviously that. But calling it Aang the Last Airbender is so peak for so many reasons. And I'm so hyped for this movie when it comes out. We know that they're going to be adult team Avatar that we're dealing with. We're going to see basically everybody and all the stuff that they were doing. I think I can't remember his name. Eric Nam will be voicing Aang, and Dave Bautista will be the voice of the villain. So I'm so hyped for this. I'm so hyped for this movie to come when it drops, man. Like for real, for real. This movie is going to be insane in the membrane. So uh, all of like I'm hoping that we finally get some answers about Sokka, get a little bit more answers about what was kind of going on with everyone. I don't know what area of yeah, can you tell? Yeah, exactly. Yes, I could definitely tell, Appa. I already knew, man. I already knew you was gonna be excited about this one. I could already tell. Um, but yeah, I am so hyped for this, yo. I'm so hyped to get into this. Like, Aang the Last Airbender is gonna be fire. It will be animated. It will be it's gonna be an animated movie released in theaters. Like that is the perfect trifecta right there. Like that is the perfect trifecta. I cannot even begin to explain how enthusiastic I am to get into Avatar: The Last Airbender and them as adults. That's one of the biggest things about Korra, the Legend of Korra, right? Is in the Legend of Korra, we get to see like the world that Aang left behind, but we didn't get to see how he made any of that world. We didn't get to see any of his like really downfalls or anything like that. Like we got a little bit of a perspective of some things, but overall he was super mysterious and honestly he was one of the characters that was not the same the most out of everyone else that we were introduced to. Like when we see Toph, she's relatively the same kind of character that she was before. Katara, same with Katara. Zuko, it's like all of these characters, their progression is within the line of the characters that we kind of left them with, that we left back in the day, except for Aang. Like every time we see Aang, anytime anything comes up about Aang, it's always different. He always seems a lot more like stern, a lot more like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, what's happening here?" You know, like, yeah, it's just kind of wild. It was just kind of wild. He was so different. It was just he was so different, and we also found out that he was not like not the best pops to his children, and that was crazy too. Like all of that just didn't seem like the same Aang that we left off with, and I can't wait to see how his viewpoint changed from being like 12 to 20. You know, like even 12 to 24. What do 12 more years turn him into as an avatar? You know? So, I'm hyped. I'm hype. I'm not gonna lie. I'm hype, yo. I'm hype. And it's lit that and we know that being in the avatar state for 100 years is kind of what brought Aang to an early demise. But if we could even see some of that kind of occur about him kind of knowing that he doesn't have a long time to live, and so it makes him go even harder with all the other stuff that he does, I think that would be a crazy POV to even take for the movie. Like it's him kind of getting that vision or getting that understanding that, yo, bro, like you gonna have more time, but you're not gonna have a lot of time. So this movie is most likely gonna be a banger, and I'm hoping that they really put it in with the animation and they go crazy with it. And I'm pretty sure they said they were gonna try to do like this new, like a newer style of animation, kind of more akin to like how they do the effects on Demon Slayer and like what was it? I think I also heard like Dragon Ball Super, kind of the newer stuff, more akin to that type of animation style. Just to kind of have it be a little bit more cinematic and more on par with things like that. So I don't know when we could possibly get a teaser trailer or anything about this, because I don't know if they've actually told us really anything other than the cast. Yeah, I'm not sure. So yeah, Eric Nam is going to voice adult Aang. The villain will be voiced by Dave Bautista, and then Dion Kwan, Jessica Matten, and Roman Zaragoza will voice Toph, Katara, and Sokka. And then Dante Bosco will return to voice Zuko, the now Fire Lord. So that's crazy. That's gonna be insane. That's gonna be such a W. And then Paramount revealed. Whoa, Jesus. Here we go. And then Paramount revealed the premise, the plot of Aang, the Last Airbender, which will tell the story of an older Aang in the years following the ending of the original Last Airbender show on Nickelodeon. In the show, Aang must master the four elements to stop the Fire Nation's violent quest and save the world. In addition to the animated movie, a new sequel series will explore of a new Earthbender after follow what the future of a new Earthbender after following the Legend of Korra would look like. Aang the Last Airbender it will be released on October 10th, 2025. Like what? I really never thought that Avatar the Last Airbender would be such a key part of pop culture like it is right now. I never thought we would get a live action so soon, mind you. Avatar is getting so popular. Yeah, for real. Like Avatar is getting so popular. It's insane. I mean, Paramount giving, Avatar Studio making our Avatar Studios was the best thing that they could have did. Honestly, like it's the best and smartest thing that they could have did 100%. So, I'm happy to get more Avatar the Last Airbender content. I'm more well Avatar at this point, Avatar content, and it sucks that Avatar is also related to the blue Avatar, so it's like you know, like, but I don't think that Avatar is on Fortnite. Actually, now that I think about it, so hmm, touche. There you go. I'm pumped to see what's gonna be going on with all the new Avatar universe. Like everything else. I think what the Earthbender that's set like 100 or like 150 years past Legend of Korra is gonna be crazy because it's supposedly supposed to have like a cyberpunk type of vibe to it a little bit too. So there's gonna be like phones and shit, like probably car. Like we already saw cars, but like cars now, and everything is gonna be a lot more up to date. Because I mean, you can just look at the technological advances that they took in just a little time from Avatar: The Last Airbender to The Legend of Korra. So the time skip that we're having between The Legend of Korra and whatever the next Earth Avatar will be is going to also be significant and change and have a big impact on what the world will be afterwards. So I'm excited to see that. And then, as we know, Korra completely fumbled the ball with being the Avatar and severed the entirety of the Avatar. The Avatar connection. So a running theme for the Avatars is to fix the thing the past Avatar messed up. So Aang had to fix what Roku did. Korra had to fix what Aang did, and then our next Earthbender avatar will have to fix what Korra did. So it'll be a very interesting story to kind of explore once we have more and know more about that. And Paramount was absolutely cooking there because they also revealed that they're going to be dropping they're going to be creating a live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin movie, and it's going to be rated R. Like, bruh, honestly, Disney picking up Deadpool 3 and creating that, I think is probably the best thing that's going to happen for us super nerds, like in the future, like for the foreseeable future. Like, don't get me wrong, The Boys and Invincible and things like that definitely paved the way a little bit more for that bloody content. But like for Disney to go out on that limb and now be investing the level of money that they are into an R-rated film that is Deadpool, yeah, bruh, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild. Like all of the other studios are gonna be like, wait a minute, we can make money from R-rated movies. Like, yes, you can. It just has to be raw as hell. So I'm here for this. I appreciated the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. I believe those are Michael Bay. Movies are solid. But to be fair, I have not watched them again since I've been an adult. So I need to before I can actually say that they're fire, because I just remember like the badass moments from the movie. And there were some badass moments. So this is gonna be insane. Oh yeah, thank you, Appa, for even letting me know, for reminding me. If you guys don't know what the last Ronin storyline is, it is when Mikey is left behind after all of his brothers are murdered, and then he goes on a freaking crazy rampage afterwards. And that is going to be insane. Very akin to what, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's kind of what Ronin is adjacent to. That's why they gave Hawkeye that Ronin moniker in Endgame. It's kind of like um a term or a name um that is most akin to samurais, but also to the lonely soldier or the last swordsman or the last samurai left that is now like getting revenge. You know what I mean? That's kind of what the term has been like molded into over the years. So that is also going to be crazy fire to see come into play, and I am hyped for this. I don't know if there was a date on this one, but I just know that it's going to be coming out soon, and I'm hyped for it. Now moving away from Paramount and going back into Disney, but into the other side of Disney. Yo, The Mandalorian and Grogu will release in theaters on May 22nd, 2025. And this is going to be an insane movie that is going to be the amalgamation of all of the stuff that have happened in the Mandoverse up until this point. I believe this will more be like, I don't know if it's the end game of everything or if it's the infinity of everything or if it's just an Avengers movie of everything, but it's one of those. I'm pretty sure it's more of like an Avengers level threat rather than an in-game level threat type of vibe, or an Infinity War level threat, but I'm not sure. Like I said, I think it's just in-game level. So once we get that, like, that movie is going to be insane. I am so ready for that movie. 100 million percent it is going to be fire. So I like, be on the lookout for The Mandalorian and Grogu releasing in theaters. uh it's 2026 though, so we do have a little time until we get that, but it's okay because we're gonna get a whole bunch of other Star Wars content from here to then. So don't worry, we ain't gonna be lacking on nothing. But I'm pumped for this movie when it does drop. I feel like it's been way too long since we've been in the theaters for a Star Wars movie. Um, what is that? 2019 is the last time we had a Star Wars movie with the Rise of Skywalker. Jesus. So it's gonna be 7 years, bro. It's gonna be 7 years. Damn near to the day. 7 years. Damn, that's crazy. It'll be 7 years since we had a Star Wars movie. when we get the Mandalorian and Grogu. So that's definitely going to bring all of the families and people together 100%. Like everyone is going to get brought together off of that movie. I already know it's going to everybody is going to be locked in and connected off of that one. The younglings and the old masters. Everybody is going to be there for that movie. Even the people that say they're not going to be watching it are going to be watching it because the Mandalorian is lit. Ahsoka was lit. All these all these shows were lit in their own right. And so once we get that in a movie form, Dave Filoni behind it, yeah, bro, we're gonna be cooking. We're gonna be cooking. And Ahsoka left us off on a really dope point for the Star Wars universe. So everything that comes next is going to be absolute fire. We also have this new look. Well, not new look, but we also have well, yeah, it is kind of a new look at the Jedi from Star Wars The Acolyte, and this is fire. Yo, fun fact, this is Daphne Keene right here, and I had no idea. So I am so hyped. I am even more hyped for this. I knew Daphne Keene was in this. I was just waiting to see who she would be, but this is Daphne Keene. Like, what? I had no idea. So, yeah, this is going to be hype. I'm ready for this show. I know people are like, nah, this is going to be weak sauce, but I don't think this is going to be weak sauce by any means. I'm so here for this. The trailer was pretty lit, not going to lie. And whoever the dark side user is, it's going to be turned like whatever is going on in this show is going to be wild, bro. So we get that High Republic era. We get a dark side user. We get to see a shit ton of Jedi thinking that they're top dog and handling everything, and they're gonna get fucked up. So I am so ready to see it all happen. I'm ready to see like in all what's for all intents and purposes, this is the beginning of the end. Like for as far as us seeing visually, right? We haven't seen where the fall of the Jedi really started. This is going to be the first time we're going to see where the fall really starts. And it's from them being airheaded, them being, uppity. And if there is a Sith here and they take him out and never tell anyone, it just reassures that they were so full headed of themselves and thought that they could really do whatever they wanted. They could really do anything. They really like it was like, yo, it's just, the Sith almost killed all of us, but they didn't, so we're good. You know what I mean? Like I could see them not wanting to disclose that bit of information. So I think that this is going to be crazy. No way. Yeah, isn't that crazy, Appa? I was super flabbergasted when I found out that that's Daphne Keene, bro. I was like, bro, what? Like literally, like what? But yeah, that's her, and I'm hyped to see her. I'm hyped to see X-23 in Star Wars. Disney got Daphne Keene working, so I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I feel like this is gonna be crazy. And we got our guy from Suicide Squad, Squid Games here. And then we got bruh right here, and he's from a couple things as well. And then the all-star cast for this movie, honestly, an all-star cast across the board. So it really is going to be hyped to see that. And then we also have Carrie Ann Moss in Star Wars, The Acolyte, and we have that new look of her coming from an Empire exclusive. So this is going to be crazy, and that there is a badass moment of when there's like a hand-to-hand combat going on, and then there's like the force use and agility in this looks so good. Like they're fighting, they're jumping in the air, they're being more agile as Jedi and or Sith or whatever force denomination they rock with. So I'm so excited to see a little bit more of that type of the force, especially in this age of the High Republic. We should be able to see some badass choreography, crazy force use, like all of that should be here because the Jedi have been doing their shit for a while now, not I mean like they know what's up. It's not like right like where we are in 7, 8, and 9. people don't know how to use a lightsaber, so that's why the choreography doesn't look the best. Same with where we are within like the Mandoverse. Like in that era, no one is like using lightsabers a lot anymore. So I don't want to say like people have forgot how to use them, but as we know from like Obi-Wan Kenobi and other Jedis, if you're not constantly honing in on the Force and utilizing it, you'll lose your connection. You'll lose that. You'll lose that spark if you're not constantly feeding the flame. So I think we should be able to see some amazing things actually be able to take place in this era of the High Republic, and having the Jedi be basically at their best. So I'm really excited to see them at their best for sure. And that's that as far as everything else at the CinemaCon stuff. We covered a lot of stuff on our Twitter page, so if you guys aren't following us on social media, make sure you are to stay up to date with all the posts that we post there. But yeah, that's kind of it for CinemaCon, the CinemaCon stuff. Let me know how you guys felt about it and what your favorite thing was that was introduced at CinemaCon. If you haven't, let me know now. And the next thing that we're going to be getting into is none other than Scoop Central. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Scoop Central. So we're going to get into it right now. I'm so pumped for it. And of course, like I said at the beginning, what we're going to be talking about today is Superman Legacy, Superman or Supermen. So we're going to dive right into that in just 1 second. What is up, Super Fam?
How's it going, everyone?
Welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things Marvel and everything pop culture.
We started Marvel Bros back in 2019 because we have a love for not only Marvel movies and comics, but because we wanted to have a place where people could stay up to date with all pop culture news.
Here, you will have access to all of our content, whether it be trailer reaction. You look like He-Man.
Oh!
And most importantly, controllable.
Go!
Character breakdowns. Welcome to Marvel Bros Breakdown.
Welcome to Marvel Bros Breakdown, where we dive deeper into characters and theorize about the latest films.
Pop culture news updates. On today's pop culture news update.
And on today's pop culture news update.
Or movie reviews.
We love to have open discussions here on the channel, so feel free to join us when we go live.
Battle Cove, I like that Kang's motives are understandable in the same way Thanos' motives were. That's exactly what we're saying. That was pretty awesome. Well.
Or jump in the comment section of a trailer reaction or breakdowns so we can theorize, converse, and nerd out.
Follow us on social media at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with the latest news, rumors, content, and more.
You can also join our Discord, where we are constantly having conversations pertaining to Marvel, DC, Star Wars, anime, and everything pop culture.
All of our past pop culture news updates are available wherever you listen to podcasts at.
If you guys would like to support Marvel Bros, all you gotta do is visit our website at www.marvelbros.com and buy some merch. Represent the superfan.
To get early access to content, patron-only scoops, giveaways, private Q&As, and those sacred watch parties. All right, you guys, like I said, it is time for Scoop Central. So we are about to get into the scoopity whoops, dupes, and the loops, okay? So today, for Scoop Central, you already know what we talking about, yo. And of course, hashtag it, Beezy told you so, okay? Beezy told you so if you didn't know. So let's get into our Scoop Central today. Superman or Supermen? This film is packed with DC characters, both heroes and villains. Not just your typical villains, but a supervillain has now entered the fray. Lex Luthor is the main villain of the movie, and we know his history with Superman, specifically cloning Superman. We will finally see that happen in live action here, and naturally, you would think Bizarro, right? Or maybe even Superboy. Sure, but it's extremely likely that Corn Sweat will actually be doubling up on roles, meaning he will be playing a different version of himself as well. So that rules out Superboy completely, okay? And while it makes sense to point to Bizarro, again, that isn't exactly the case here. What Beezy has been told is that this clone will be a version of Ultraman, the Earth 3 version of Superman who leads the crime syndicate, aka the Evil Justice League. Now, this script has changed several times already, but for right now, it looks as though we are getting good soups versus evil soups by the hand of Lex Luthor, who could possibly be influenced by the hand of another being, a collector of sorts. He's been mentioned before, but that's another story for another day. So, Ultra Name is in name only, and he will be cloned and sent to fight Superman. So, it'll be a Superman clone. But he will be a defective clone and will eventually deteriorate into Bizarro, more akin to Red Sun Bizarro. We're getting a mixture of storylines here, all into one. The villain with Lex behind the mastermind. Whoa. Lex being the villain behind. Whoa. Lex being the mastermind behind all the drama. Not just Superman versus Superman, but Superman versus the Elite, or in this case, the Authority. It was Lex all along. So that is the scoop that we have for you guys today, coming in from Scoop Central, okay? And it's wild. I think that Superman Legacy, that is now just titled Superman, but I'm going to continue to call it Superman Legacy, just because I think it just helps us understand what we're all talking about. And you don't have to say the Superman movie. Superman will the Superman Legacy is going to be insane. It's going to be a crazy movie. It's jam-packed with a bunch of stuff for sure. But it's not at the same time. It's kind of what happens when you have a movie set in a universe that is already existing. It pre-exists. It's already been there. It's not something that we have to lean into or build up entirely. We already know the backstory of a lot of these heroes. We already know the backstory of who they are, what they do, how they came into the fray, so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. So we don't have to spend too much time on those aspects of things. And that sounds like it's going to be a really jolly good show, in my opinion. It means we don't have to waste time building up all of these characters and doing all of these other, all of these little minute things that are happening. We're going to be able to jump into it, not have to see, all this stuff and how Superman is made. And we don't have to see Krypton get blown up for the 80th time. And we don't have to see this, and we don't have to see that, and we don't have to see that, and we don't have to see that. It's like, no, we already know the backstory for all these characters. We don't need a Green Lantern backstory before we get into the Justice League movie, or necessarily, right? We already have these characters work like knowing each other in the universe. And I think that's the best way to do it, to start off a universe, especially, or a new universe. It's like, hey, all these characters exist. Look at Invincible. Look at The Boys. Look at Young Justice. Like X-Men 97. We know these characters exist within the universe. It's just they're not the characters that we're following, so we don't know about them we don't know everything about them, but we know stuff about them. It's like, oh, if we see Flash in a movie, we don't need to know all of Flash's backstory. It's just like, boom, okay, that's the Flash. We know about the Flash. We know who the Flash is. We know what the Flash does. Like, and we continue from that, and then we continue and we continue. I don't think that every time we get a new story, it needs to be, hey, we're starting at, I'm Barry Allen and I'm the fastest man alive. Like, I don't think that's where we need to start per se from the beginning. I think that's another, like, look at Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse. Both of those movies, they capitalize on the trope of backstory. By every time we're introduced to a new Spider-Man, we get their backstory, because it, like, getting a backstory or getting an origin story, it's part of, the superhero zeitgeist as we know it, but it really doesn't need to be a part of it in the same way anymore. We don't need to have multiple we don't need a backstory for every character we get introduced to. We just don't. I mean, look at Moon Knight, right? Moon Knight was really good. The only thing that they fumbled with was still giving it to us as an origin story because the character doesn't know who they were, but they finessed us with it instead, so it works out, right? It's like he's a superhero already, but he doesn't know why he's a superhero. So we still have to play the origin story game, but it's more of an established character. I need more of that rather than, oh, here is the origin story of these characters. I need, like, so. And like Fantastic Four will be able to give us that as well. It's not going to be an origin story by any means. We're going to be thrown into the lives, for lack of better words, of all these characters that are doing the things that they doing. And to me, that's the best way to do it. That's the best way to go. And I am so excited for all of that, bro. Can't wait to watch these movies. I could not agree with you more, Appa. I could not agree with you more. All of these movies are going to be bangers, man. It's like, literally 2024 is like low-key a dry year for movies, but we got like Dune 2 and that was epic. We're gonna have Deadpool, that's gonna be epic, right? We're getting some epic things this year, but it's kind of dry as at the same time. As far as like the big blockbusters that we've been kind of getting for the last couple of years. This year is kind of slowed down on that, and then starting it back up in 2025, where I think we're getting a couple of big movies next year. So it's going to be a grand time. It's going to be a grand time. So Superman, all this stuff. We got so much that's about to come out. It's going to be lit. Like, we're getting Superman and a Captain America movie in the same year, if I'm not mistaken. Like we're cooking, bro. Like, we're cooking. Yeah, July 11th, 2025 is when Superman Legacy is going to be coming out. And then February 14th, 2025 is when Captain America Brave New World is going to come out. So we are going to be cooking in the year of the year of our Lord, July 11th, 2025. You feel me? It's going to be Heat City, and I am pumped for that. And I really hope you guys are too. With all that being said, if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on social media at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with all things Marvel and everything pop culture.
What is up, Super Fam? How's it going, everyone?
Welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things. Wow. There we go. Follow us on social media at Marvel Bros to stay up to date with all things Marvel and everything pop culture. You can also follow me on social media at Sensei Finito to stay up to date with all my thoughts, theories, and opinions on whatever particular thing we may be partaking in at that particular time. And you can check out our podcast wherever you check out podcasts at to stay up to date with all the stuff that we be doing there. You can listen to our Monday stuff, our Tuesday stuff, our Wednesday stuff. Whatever you want to listen to is there for you to listen to. And I hope you guys definitely do. You guys have been awesome today on trying out this new short stuff. It's my first time doing the vertical content on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all at the same time. I think it went pretty solidly. I definitely am going to keep experimenting with this to see how it goes, to see if we keep popping up. I think we're probably not popping up for our normal YouTube watchers, so I think I might have to go live a couple more times in this way to kind of get a little bit more of the normal people, the normal YouTube people. And this was kind of an experimenting test type of vibe too, to see what was really going to go on. So I definitely appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in with me today. Thank you, Appa, for vibing with y'all boy. And I hope all of you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And as I always say, stay awesome, stay nerdy, and don't forget to stay marvelous. Excelsior.
If you guys would like to support Marvel Bros, all you gotta do is visit our website at www.marvelbros.com and buy some merch. Represent the super fan.
Or you can join our Patreon to get early access to content, patron-only scoops, giveaways, private Q&As, and those sacred watch parties.
We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Excelsior.
On today's pop culture news update,